and welcome to the next episode of 31 Nights of Horror, where we're taking you through all the horror movies leading up to Halloween. What's the film today, Dan?
The classic Psycho.
Psycho.
Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah. One of the greatest directors of all time. Sadly not with us anymore. I wish he was. Yeah. Oh, am I running through the story of Psycho?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise it had been passed over.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For you, those of you out there that have been living under a rock for these many years, she was one of them. Psycho is about... It starts off with a lady who seems to work for I want to say an estate agent? I think it was an estate agent, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it starts off with her with a man who explains that he's like just divorced from a wife, he has to pay all these bills and everything. And then she goes to an estate agent in which a big man comes and he pays 40 grand in cash for a house. Well, she takes that 40 grand and thinks that she's gonna go and help the man that she loves and pay off his debts. So she starts driving.
So they can be together.
Yeah, so they can be together. And so she starts driving away, and she stops along a motel called Bates Motel, and she stays for the night, in which she meets the very lovely Norman Bates. He's a very nice man. She stays, she has dinner with him, they have a nice conversation, which, by the way, that conversation was brilliant. Love it. I will go into it later. But and then she continues to stay the night, into which we get the famous scene of where she's murdered in the shower, and Norman Bates is horrified because it seems that his mother has killed her in the shower, and so he gets rid of the body, puts it in a swamp and everything, and we carry on. Then a detective comes along trying to find her. She gets murdered. He gets murdered by the mother, and then we continue on. Sorry, I'm taking ages because I want to do everything to this film. And it turns out at the end that Norman's mother has been dead for 10 years, and the dead body of his mother is found in the basement. And it turns out that Norman Bates is insane, and he thinks he's his mother, and he's been dressing as his mother and killing the people, and it ends with what I think should be the scene that was remembered for the film, but it's the shower scene, is where he's sitting and a fly lands on his hand, and he utters the words, "I wouldn't even hurt a fly," and he continues to look at the camera, and it is the most evil face you will ever see in film. And there's this lovely little shot where Norman Bates is looking at the camera, and his face sort of shifts to his mother's face very quickly.
It's the weirdest thing.
And then the end comes up. It's a great story to a great film from one of the greatest directors.
So good. I can't believe it's taken me this long to see it. Like, as a horror fan, I don't know how I've managed to get away from it, but I have wanted to see it. I have. It's taken me someone like this lovely person here to actually sit me down and watch it. And
yeah, because amazingly as it sounds, she did not know anything about this film.
I managed to get away from knowing anything. All I knew is that she was the leading lady was she was murdered in the shower, and obviously you have it in your head that it's a guy, that it's Norman Bates, because that's the guy. He's the guy of the movie, but it wasn't until I saw the shadow I was just like, oh my god, it's a woman.
Yeah, it was so nice to watch someone. I mean, because everybody that I've ever watched it with has kind of known the story of Psycho.
Oh, I didn't know.
It was so nice to sit there and watch it with someone who knew nothing and was shocked that it was Norman's mother, and then was even more shocked later on when it turned out that Norman's mother was dead, and it was Norman that was being Norman's mother.
So creepy.
You know, and that shot, the scene where he gets discovered, he looks so terrifying.
Yeah.
He's got this really horrible grin on his face, and he's coming in to murder the girl, and he's dressed as the mum, and it's so
insanely
creepy.
good. Like, it is like there's two movies in one, because you have the first movie at the very beginning where the girl's in love with the guy, and she obviously steals the money and she runs away, like people explain, blah blah blah. And when she meets Norman Bates at the motel, and he kind of tries to woo her. He's trying to be nice, and he's trying to be really nice to her, and it's so lovely. Like, he is adorable.
He is.
He's so lovely. He's so charming.
Norman Bates, I mean, the character of Norman Bates, I mean, I won't go into the spoilers of the other films because there's 4 Psychos, and this is just literally the surface of the Norman Bates character. He is one of the most interesting characters in film history.
I'm
He is
excited.
so interesting.
I didn't realise there was 4 movies.
I will get you to watch them.
So I'm like looking forward to seeing them.
The next one, I think it's either a family member or someone, they come along to take his house and he's just come out of the insane asylum.
Oh, okay, cool.
And obviously the whole thing is he still insane during it? But the character of Norman Bates is so interesting. Even in this film alone, if you add on the other 3 films, he's even more interesting. But Norman Bates, he has two sides to him. He has his mother and he has Norman. Norman is the most politest, loveliest man you will ever meet. He is so lovely.
He's only protecting his mum.
Yeah,
he truly believes
the
that she's
only
alive.
time he seems to be riled up is when someone says bad stuff about his mum. But when he's his mum, he's horrible.
He's so sweet.
Yeah, when, like I said, that conversation where he sat down with the girl and they had this really nice conversation where he had this nice little speech, and she mentions putting his mother in a madhouse.
Yeah.
And the speech that he gave was just so protective and so lovely of his mum, when I think it was like the clucking of the tongues as they want to go on about the madhouse. It's just such a nice little speech. It's really well written.
Hitchcock. Thing about birds.
He definitely likes
Thinking about birds.
Yeah, I mean, like I said to you, I think his logo is actually a bird. Hitchcock. He should be known more for his birds.
Obviously, there is his amazing film, The Birds. But then, obviously, there's taxidermy in this film, isn't there? I mean, he collects, he stuffs himself birds, dead birds.
Which, at the end, you find out that he's done the same to his mum's body. Yeah. She's been stuffed to preserve her.
She's a bird.
Well, yeah, she's just like a little skull.
She's a bird.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
a girl. But like, even like you said, like the clucking, the words he uses, like there's just a thing about birds that he seems to be obsessed with, which is cool because I'm good with that.
It's just kind of continuity to all these films.
And can I just say, when did acting in horror have to be so bad? Like, you taking a film that was made 1960, we saw 1960. The acting's great. It's great. Why? I don't understand why this. A lot, not all of them, but a lot of like scream queens of the day of now, like, are just terrible.
Oh yeah,
and the acting is so good back then.
Yeah, the main woman who gets like killed only like quite like halfway through the film. She's brilliant.
Yeah.
She's brilliant at what she does. She's like, there was that scene where she was driving, and you heard all these voices of all the people that were discussing her stealing the money, and it's left to your own devices of whether that's what's been said or whether that's what she thinks is being said, because she seems to have like this inner monologue. But it's just.
But even though she's looking straight ahead and her face isn't moving, you can tell. I don't know. There's something. I know a lot about Hitchcock's style is that you kind of make it. You kind of allow yourself to see more than's actually being shown, but it's all in her eyes. It's mad, and that's not even going into. I mean, obviously, the shower scene.
That is one of it's one of the most famous scenes of cinema history.
Yeah.
For a good reason.
For a very good reason.
It is perfectly shot. It is so good. Like, you never see the knife go in.
You think you do.
It's all about like the mind. You think you see it, but you never see it go in. I love the blood trickle.
Yeah.
Going into the plug. It's so good. Hitchcock gets his nudity in. But it's not nudity that's definitely there, because when she's grabbing for the shower cone, you can see the shadow of boob, basically. It's so tastefully done, and even like that lasting shot of just her laying on the floor.
She makes one pretty corpse.
She does. She was a very pretty lady.
She was.
That like where she's just like sort of leant back against the thing, grabbed, and then she's lifted her hand to grab the shower. It's such a good scene.
And the thing is, I've only just remembered from watching it, which makes me sound really stupid. Doesn't make me stupid. You'll see what I mean when you watch it. It was black and white, but yet you see the red of the blood.
Yes.
You see it, and you see it, and it's just mad.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was Hitchcock's last black and white film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think he decided. I think I read that he decided to make it black and white because his way of thinking was there's so many bad black and white B-movie films that are successful. What would happen if it was a really good B?
Yeah.
And he did this on a budget of 800,000, which isn't a lot, but in movie standards, and it made 40 million. You know,
Doesn't surprise me.
It's
beautifully done.
This film, from start to finish, shows why Hitchcock is one of the greatest directors of all time. The script is amazing. The actors are amazing. I think it's Anthony Perkins who plays Norman. He is one of the most underrated actors of all time. He is so good.
I've never heard of him, but I like it.
He is so good, and sadly he's not with us anymore, but he is amazing. And if I get you to watch, and I want all you lot to do it as well, if I get you to watch the other 3 Psychos, you will see just how good he is as Norman Bates. He is amazing, and it gets me excited to watch them. I think we're going to start watching the Bates Motel TV series, because the Norman Bates character is so interesting.
Where is that set in the story? Can it just be? Can I just watch it now and it makes sense? Now I've seen the first film.
It would do, because the TV series is set when he's younger, to explain the relationship between Norman Bates and his mother, because obviously, it is actually,
it's actually his
she's
mother.
alive, and that they've just taken over the motel.
Oh, it's even better then.
And it's to show how she is, because obviously she's an overbearing mother.
Yeah.
She's a horrible mother, but she's not a horrible mother because she loves her son and she wants to protect her son.
So it'll be interesting watching. Obviously now I've seen the film, to see the series, and then when the series is dead and buried and gone, watching the film again.
Yes, because I'm hoping, I've seen a couple of the episodes and it's quite good. I'm hoping that the TV series they've got their story set. Kind of like, I don't want to bring it up because it's been killed to death, but kind of how Breaking Bad was. Breaking Bad had a set story, it got that story out. I want the Bates Motel to be exactly the same.
Start, middle, finish, done.
And then it would end with, maybe it would end with Norman killing his mother off, because that was explained in this one. He killed his mother and her lover. I mean, that's a bit iffy, I think, like, if you go through the films, it kind of is questioned that. Because why would
maybe it'll be like a How I Met Your Mother sort of thing, where it's like, is this the relationship she's in sort of thing? Maybe we'll get to see her meet somebody. I don't know if the name was mentioned. I can't remember if the name was mentioned of her lover.
No.
But if it wasn't, then it might be a case of we see someone. But, you know, that's the TV series.
That's the TV series. I mean, we're getting back to the film. It's just, I cannot think of anything bad about this film. It's so perfectly done. I mean, it's nice to have. This would be my second perfect film on the list, with The Shining. This film is beautifully shot.
Yes.
It's brilliantly scripted. Even the music, you know, I mean, the most famous song in it is not the song of Psycho. You know, the that's not the Psycho song. You get this one song, I can't even remember how it went.
It's
yeah, and that is played all the way through the film, and
it's chilling.
It's
great.
It is a testament to Hitchcock in that we discussed it quite a while ago when I showed this woman The Birds, in which Hitchcock does this lovely thing where if you watch a horror film nowadays, if something is meant to shock you, you'll get that bing, a really loud noise. Hitchcock doesn't do that, and he did it twice in this film, I believe. The one where the detective was at the top of the stairs and it caught her, where it literally went to signal a death. That's the only time that music is ever shown, is to signal a death. And it popped up again when he came in looking so frightening, dressed as his mum. And to think that a black and white film made in the 60s, which isn't jumpy scares, we can still watch it now and be creeped out. He is so creepy when he puts on his scary voice.
You know.
And then when you think that we hear conversations between Norman and his mother, and he is sitting there doing both those voices, you know, it's so.
You know what?
such a
Anyone
creepy
that
film.
says this film, personally, I'm sorry. Anyone that says this film hasn't aged well, I think it's wrong.
They're completely wrong.
I really do think you're wrong.
I know a lot of people that don't like black and white films. I think this is the exception to the rule.
They probably don't. They probably judge before they've even given it a chance.
Yeah, I think this is one of those ones that it doesn't feel like an old film. It's just, if you have an appreciation for cinema, not just horror, just cinema,
Yes.
you have to watch this film because, like I said, it's beautifully shot. The
Yeah.
script is near on perfect. I cannot think of any point in the film where I was thinking that wasn't naturally said.
It is a movie to see before you die.
Exactly.
So you have to see it.
Exactly. And I mean, it's obvious what my score's going to be. You know, 10 out of 10, definitely. If you haven't seen this film, why? Go see it. Not go see it because it's not in the cinema, but just watch it. It's brilliant. It's perfect. There is nothing wrong with this film. Even the ending is just amazing because Norman's sitting there looking really scary, but speaking in his mum's voice inside
That's
his
the
head.
creepiest thing. It's because he's so. It's kind of similar to the whole child thing in horror movies where they're so innocent. He is so charming and kind of innocent-minded, and suddenly he can just turn.
Yes.
And it's that. It's the fact that
I mean,
you don't expect it.
He is such a nice man.
Yeah.
Norman is so nice. And do you know what's even creepier about that last scene? I don't know whether you noticed it, but I was watching and I noticed it. His mum's voice is going on in his head talking about how, you know, he's always been a bad boy and everything. Norman is nodding in acknowledgement to what she's saying. So when she goes, he's always been a bad boy, he's sitting there going, as if to agree that he's always been a bad boy.
You hear outside the office, you hear the female voice coming through.
Yeah.
And
so
that's weird.
In his mind, his mum's talking, but his body is still Norman, agreeing with what his mum is saying.
It's terrifying to think somebody's that not with them, you know, they're just not there.
I mean, that's terrifying in itself, but then to take it out of that, what great acting. What great directing.
I actually can't think of an actor right now who I believe would do that justice. Like,
exactly.
justice.
You know, I mean, the only thing that I could think of that could come close to it is that licking of the lips that Heath Ledger did as Joker. It's such a small, tiny thing, but it adds so much realism to the whole film. You know, amazing. So amazing. Do you give your review? Because I think I've just creamed all over this film.
You know, I feel the same. Like, I knew I was going to enjoy it. Not that I didn't think I would enjoy it this much, but I don't know. I guess because I knew I was putting it off because we were going to wait and then watch it. Yeah, I loved it. Even more than I thought. And I can't find anything wrong with it. I really enjoyed it. I could watch it in 10 years' time and still love it, and it wouldn't have aged. And I know it's so early on, and I don't want to give too many good reviews, but at the end of the day, it is perfect. I'm going to have to give it 10 out of 10 as well.
It is amazing how perfect it is.
It's just so good. There's nothing.
You know how I told you there's 4 films to it? Yeah, have you... I know you have. And I know there's probably viewers out there that have done it. Have you ever watched an episode of a TV series, and then it's like, that was amazing, I have to watch them all. I have to watch this whole TV series. Yeah. That's what I did with Psycho. I was like, that one was amazing, I have to watch the second one. And then I watched the second one, I was like, that one's
amazing. If we weren't watching a different horror movie every day,
I would get you to sit down and watch all 4.
I'd be watching them all.
Yeah, because I think the 4th one is like a prequel.
Think what we're doing for you. I'm sacrificing. No, I love it, it's fine.
I think the 4th one is actually a prequel. So I will get you to watch them. Please watch them at home. Like, I'm not saying that just sort of just please watch them. Watch this one. You know, don't watch the remake though. That is one thing I will warn you away. Don't watch the remake. The remake is I don't know whether you've seen it, but Vince Vaughn plays Norman Bates.
We're not talking about American Psycho.
No, American Psycho is a completely different kettle of fish.
Oh, okay, fine.
But yeah, Vince Vaughn is in Will Ferrell, old school sort of, Dodgeball. He plays Norman Bates, and there's only one man that can play Norman Bates, and that's Anthony Perkins. I think that's his name. I don't want to get it wrong. And then obviously there's American Psycho.
Let us know at the bottom if you got that wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few things wrong anyway. I'm pretty sure it's Anthony Perkins because I remember looking him up and seeing that he died, which was sad. But Anyway, that's our review for Psycho.
Yeah.
You know what's next?
I know what's next.
Yeah.
Next, we are actually going to do something from the 90s. From the 90s?
I believe it's the 90s.
90s. And again, we're trying to kind of keep you on your toes because it's something very different. But Event Horizon.
Ooh, Event Horizon. Which, for many of you out there that are gamers, I mean, you might have seen the Dark Souls 2 t-shirt. Yes. Ooh. Event Horizon was the inspiration to Dead Space, the EA series. So that's just a little taster on what. If you haven't seen
It's
Event
awesome.
Horizon, it's a mind fuck. So
I
Event
watched it last as
Horizon.
a teenager, so I'm very excited. How shocked I'm gonna be. I
Yeah.
am, because I remember liking it back then, but I can't remember anything about it. So
Yeah, I had to, at first I had to talk her around. I think when she's watched it, she's gonna love it, and I think you're all gonna love it.
I'm glad that I can't remember why I enjoyed it, because
Yeah.
I'll be surprised.
But I hope you've watched Psycho before watching this review.
But I completely don't blame you if you haven't, because
Yeah.
I mean I haven't.
It's amazing. Watch it, then watch Event Horizon. Get ready for our next review. We will see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.